Okay, so the past episode review before Smallville returns next week. This is from season 2, episode titled Red. This is where we see Clark being, how should I put it, not using, but the effects of what red kryptonite can do to Clark. And it all kicks off when Clark uses his allowance to buy a ring at school, because apparently they're having some sort of ring fest going on at Smallville High, and Clark buys the ring against the wishes of Jonathan, his father, Jonathan Kent, who basically tells him, that he shouldn't really pay for that ring. But Clark buys it anyway, and when he puts it on, it sends a nice redness into his body and in his eyes. they just flare red, and I can definitely say that a lot of female fans enjoyed this episode, and I think the reason being is because Clark loses all his inhibitions when he's affected by red kryptonite, and a lot of the female fans will tell you how much they love Clark Kent on red kryptonite. It's like the sexiest thing ever for them, as far as they're concerned. It is very sexy. But obviously this episode, we're introduced by a new schoolgirl by the name of Jessie. Was it Jessie Summers? I can't remember the surname. Who cares? She was blonde, she was gorgeous, that's fine for me. But we actually find out there's a reason why Jessie has actually moved to Smallville. But I think the main focus was more about Clark and how red kryptonite affects him, his personalities and things like that. And it kind of worried Jonathan and Martha that his attitude had completely changed just like that, and they didn't know what it was. They had no idea how he suddenly became arrogant, abrupt and rude at some point as well, and if he was tested really heavily, he'd get really aggressive as well. For them, they just had no idea what was going on. And then when Chloe announced to Pete Ross that the rings were fake because they were using red kryptonite as opposed to green, when Pete saw the meteor rock, he thought, okay, there's green and red on here, I'm wearing a red ring, Clark's wearing a red ring, what if that, there's a connection kind of thing. So when he tells Martha and Jonathan, they suddenly think, crap, okay, what are we going to do? But because of this red kryptonite affects Clark in this way, he, as I say, suddenly becomes a completely different person. He goes out and uses his parents' credit cards and buys a whole bunch of stuff, and then the next thing you know, there's a satellite dish on the barn, there's a jet ski, there's a big massive TV, there's a gaming console, and there he is just sitting there playing. And as I say, his parents, Jonathan and Martha, have no idea what's happened. But then when they realise that the red kryptonite is the cause of his change in personality, they then come up with a plan of how to take the ring off him, because they know that he's not going to just willingly take the ring off. Then there's he meets up with Lex, borrows his Ferrari, and is going to leave Smallville with Jessie, start a new life with her and everything. And he just really does become a completely different person. And every episode that we have seen from that moment on, where Clark is affected by red kryptonite, there's a reason as to why that has happened. It gives us an insight as to what Clark could become if he didn't have the morals and the teachings and the upbringing that he had through Martha and Jonathan. He could be a formidable force, pretty much. I mean, I think for me, he does have a darkness within him, but red kryptonite at the moment is the only thing that can kind of bring it out in him. He tells home truths as well that people don't want to hear, and excuse me, it's just how it affects his personality. So I honestly did I did actually love the episode for that reason. You know, now that I look back after watching it again, and I think it really, that's how we then realise, you know, like at the end of season 2, when he then runs away from Smallville, goes to Metropolis, you know, he slips on the red kryptonite ring, and he just uses that because of after what happened with Martha losing the baby, when he destroyed the ship, he felt really bad. He was so guilty, he just couldn't face himself anymore, and you know, that was the reason why he left and, you know, took the red kryptonite. And yeah. But no, seriously, in all fairness, awesome episode for me, and I think a fitting way to end the past Smallville reviews, because now we know that season 10, this is it, the coming of age for Clark. Hopefully he will take flight, hopefully he'll wear the suit, and hopefully we'll hear him being called Superman. So I'm all for it, people. Next Friday, 27th? I'm tired. Friday 24th of September, next Friday. So I'll see you all then. Thank you for watching, and good night.